Machiavelli didn't demand confidence. He demanded the kind that makes people hesitate before they challenge you. There's confidence that makes people comfortable. Then there's the kind that makes them recalculate. Machiavelli understood this distinction better than anyone. He didn't write about feeling good or believing in yourself. He wrote about presence so absolute that others instinctively defer to it, not out of affection, but out of recognition. The confidence that intimidates doesn't ask for space. It claims it. It doesn't seek approval. It operates and the room adjusts. This is what Machiavelli demanded from those who wanted power. Not charisma, not likability, psychological weight. You've been taught that confidence is internal, a mindset, a feeling, something you build through affirmations and self-love. That's not what moves people. What moves people is the version of confidence that walks into a room and changes the atmospheric pressure. The kind that doesn't explain, doesn't justify, doesn't soften itself for comfort. Machiavelli called this virtù, the force of will that bends reality without needing permission. It's not about being loud, it's about being undeniable. When you carry this kind of confidence, people don't just notice you, they feel the boundary before they even approach it. This isn't a guide to feeling better about yourself. This is a breakdown of the psychological mechanics that turn presence into dominance, silence into control, and certainty into intimidation. We're dissecting 10 principles Machiavelli would recognize immediately, the shifts that separate those who ask for respect from those who command it without speaking. Pay close attention, because the confidence that intimidates isn't something you perform, it's something you become. 1. Killing the inner servant. You've been trained to serve. Not explicitly. No one sat you down and told you to bow. But every time you apologized when you weren't wrong, every time you dimmed yourself to make someone comfortable, you reinforced the psychology of weakness. Approval became your currency, and people learned to spend you cheaply. This isn't about kindness. It's about survival instincts gone wrong. The human mind craves acceptance because isolation once meant death. But now, that wiring is a trap. You're not surviving. You're submitting. The inner servant doesn't wear chains. It wears politeness. It speaks in sorry and I didn't mean to bother you, and maybe I'm wrong. Every phrase is a micro-surrender, a boundary erased before it's even drawn. People don't respect this. They sense it. Weakness has a scent, and it attracts dominance the way blood attracts predators. When you operate from a place of needing validation, you hand control to anyone willing to withhold it. And they will. Not out of cruelty, out of instinct. Power flows to those who claim it, not those who wait for permission. I've watched this pattern destroy careers, relationships, entire identities. A man spends years building competence, then collapses the moment someone questions him. Why? Because his confidence was built on external approval, not internal authority. He never killed the servant. He dressed it up, gave it a title, taught it to smile, but it was still bowing. Real power doesn't ask. It doesn't explain. It exists, and others adjust. That's not arrogance. That's psychology. When you stop seeking approval, you stop being manipulable. Machiavelli understood this. He wrote that a prince must learn not to be good, not because goodness is wrong, but because goodness without power is irrelevant. You can be moral, you can be fair, but if you're weak, your morality becomes decoration on someone else's agenda. The inner servant believes that being good will earn respect. It won't. Respect is taken, not given. It's a consequence of boundaries, not kindness. The moment you prioritize how you're perceived over what you control, you've lost. Killing the servant isn't about becoming ruthless. It's about becoming unavailable to manipulation. You stop performing. You stop explaining. You stop softening your truth to fit someone else's comfort. This creates discomfort in others, not because you're cruel, but because you're no longer predictable. And unpredictability is the first language of power. When people can't emotionally leverage you, they recalibrate. Some leave. Let them. What remains is respect or nothing. Both are better than the illusion you've been clinging to. 2. The illusion of the weak winning. You've been sold a lie. The story goes like this. The humble inherit the earth. The meek find their reward. Patience wins in the end. It's a beautiful narrative. It's also strategically designed to keep you compliant. This illusion exists because it serves those already in power. If you believe that waiting, enduring, and suffering quietly will somehow result in victory, you'll never challenge the structure. You'll sit there controlled by hope, while others take what they want. Fairness is not a law of nature. It's a social construct enforced only when convenient. Look around. Who actually wins? Not the kindest, not the most patient. The ones who win are the ones who understand that confidence without action is just noise, and action without dominance is just effort. The world rewards those who move first, speak clearly, and refuse to apologize for occupying space. Yet you've been conditioned to believe the opposite, that if you're just good enough, humble enough, quiet enough, someone will notice and reward you. No one is coming. There is no cosmic scoreboard tracking your sacrifices. There is only perception, and perception bends toward power. I've seen brilliant people lose to mediocre ones because they believed competence alone would be enough. It's not. Competence without presence is invisible. You can be the smartest in the room, but if you carry yourself like you're apologizing for being there, no one will see it. This is the illusion at work. The belief that your value will speak for itself. It won't. Value is declared, not discovered. When you hesitate, when you defer, when you downplay yourself to avoid seeming arrogant, you're not being humble. You're being forgettable. And forgettable people don't win. They watch. This isn't about morality. It's about survival psychology. Humans are hierarchical animals. We assess dominance in seconds. Posture, tone, eye contact, the speed at which you claim space. If you signal weakness, even subtly, the room reorganizes around you. Not with malice, with instinct. People naturally defer to those who act like they deserve deference. It's not fair. It's mechanical. The weak winning narrative exists to stop you from understanding this. It teaches you to wait your turn while others are rewriting the rules. Machiavelli knew this. He watched good men fail because they believed in justice. He watched ruthless men succeed because they understood power. His conclusion wasn't that morality doesn't matter. It's that morality without strategy is suicide. You can care about fairness, but if you're not willing to enforce it, someone else will define it for you. The illusion crumbles the moment you realize that confidence isn't something you earn through virtue. It's something you take through clarity. And clarity begins when you stop waiting for permission to exist at full volume. 3. Confidence as a weapon, not a virtue. You've been taught that confidence is about feeling good. It's not. Confidence is a tool of control, a mechanism of dominance that shapes how others respond to you before you even speak. It's not self-esteem. It's not positive thinking. It's the psychological projection of certainty, and certainty commands obedience. When you walk into a room with true confidence, you're not hoping to be accepted. You're deciding the terms of engagement. People feel this. They don't rationalize it. They submit to it or resist it, but they never ignore it. That's power. Most people confuse confidence with comfort. They think it's about being relaxed, being yourself, letting your personality shine. Wrong. Confidence is about being unshakable when challenged, unmoved by disapproval, and willing to let others feel uncomfortable with your presence. It's not warmth, it's weight. When you carry yourself with real confidence, you create pressure. People either rise to meet it or collapse under it. Either way, you control the frame. The moment you try to make everyone comfortable, you've weaponized yourself against your own interests. Comfort is the enemy of respect. I learned this the hard way. I used to think being confident meant being liked. I thought if I was competent and friendly, people would naturally follow. They didn't. They tested me. They pushed boundaries, questioned decisions, waited to see if I'd flinch. The moment I stopped seeking their approval and started operating from a place of cold certainty, everything shifted. Not because I became smarter or better, because I stopped apologizing for my authority. Confidence isn't earned through skill. It's taken through presence. And presence is just the refusal to negotiate your own validity. This is why manipulation works. People with weak confidence are easy to destabilize. All you have to do is question them, withdraw approval, or create ambiguity. They collapse inward, scrambling to regain the validation they've lost. But someone with weaponized confidence? You can't move them. They don't need your agreement. They don't need your comfort. They state reality and wait for you to adjust. This isn't cruelty. It's clarity. The strongest psychological position is the one that doesn't require external reinforcement. When you stop caring whether people agree, you become immune to their leverage. Machiavelli called this virtù, not virtue, but force of will. It's the ability to impose your vision on a situation without needing consensus. You don't ask permission. You don't soften the message. You declare, and the world reorganizes around your certainty, or it doesn't. Either outcome is acceptable because your confidence isn't conditional. This is what intimidates people. Not aggression, not loudness. The quiet, unapologetic refusal to shrink. When your confidence is a weapon, you don't swing it. You just hold it. And everyone in the room knows exactly what it's for. 4. The psychological power of calculated silence. You talk too much. Every time you over-explain, you weaken your position. Every time you fill silence with justification, you signal insecurity. People mistake words for power, but power speaks once and waits. Silence is a weapon most never learn to wield because it's uncomfortable. It creates tension. It forces others to reveal themselves. When you stop rushing to fill the void, you stop being predictable. And the moment you become unpredictable, you become dangerous. Not physically, psychologically. People can't manipulate what they can't read. Calculated silence isn't passive, it's active restraint. It's the deliberate choice to withhold reaction, to let discomfort sit in the room until someone else breaks. This creates a vacuum of control, and nature abhors a vacuum. Whoever speaks first loses. They expose their hand, their fear, their need for resolution. You stay still. You observe. You let them scramble while you collect information. This is how dominance works in real time. Not through force, but through the refusal to participate in someone else's emotional chaos. Silence is the ultimate boundary. It says, I don't owe you comfort. I've used this in negotiations, confrontations, even casual conversations. Someone challenges me. Instead of defending, I go quiet. Not cold, just absent of reaction. The silence stretches. They start to fill it. They over-explain. They soften their position. They reveal what they actually want. All because I refuse to play the game on their terms. This isn't manipulation. It's strategic detachment. When you stop feeding someone's emotional expectation, they either escalate or retreat. Both outcomes give you information, and information is control. Most people fear silence because it feels like rejection. They've been conditioned to believe that constant communication equals connection. It doesn't. It equals dependency. When you train people to expect your reaction, you give them leverage. They know how to get a response out of you. But when you master silence, you become unreadable. People lose the ability to push your buttons because they don't know where the buttons are. This is psychological intimidation at its finest, not through aggression, but through the absence of weakness. You don't react, you respond, or you don't respond at all. Machiavelli understood that words are commitments, and commitments are vulnerabilities. The more you say, the more you can be held to. The more you explain, the more you invite challenge. Silence, on the other hand, is sovereign. It needs no defense. It offers no openings. When you speak less and observe more, you shift from being a participant to being a force. People feel this shift. They adjust their behavior without knowing why. That's the power of calculated silence. It controls the room without entering it. And control in its purest form is always quiet. 5. Hesitation as learned weakness. You weren't born hesitant. You were trained into it. Every time someone punished your certainty, mocked your conviction, or made you second-guess yourself, they installed a pause button in your psychology. Now you hesitate before speaking. You hesitate before deciding. You hesitate before existing at full capacity. This isn't caution, it's conditioning, and it's destroying your ability to command respect. Hesitation signals that you don't trust your own judgment, and if you don't trust it, why should anyone else? People smell doubt. They respond to it with dominance or dismissal. Either way, you lose. The mechanism is simple. Hesitation creates a gap between thought and action, and in that gap, fear grows. You start questioning yourself. You start imagining consequences that don't exist. You start building elaborate justifications for doing nothing. This is survival psychology gone wrong. In ancient environments, hesitation before acting could save your life. But in modern social dynamics, hesitation is the fastest way to become irrelevant. Every second you wait, someone else moves. Every moment you pause to consider everyone's feelings, someone with clarity takes the space you were too afraid to claim. Weakness isn't a lack of strength. It's the failure to act when action is required. I've watched people with superior ideas lose to mediocre ones simply because they hesitated. They wanted to be sure. They wanted consensus. They wanted permission from some invisible authority that doesn't exist. Meanwhile, someone less competent but more decisive moved forward, claimed the narrative, and won. Not because they were right, because they were first. This is the cost of hesitation. It's not that you're wrong, it's that you're slow. And slowness in decision-making is indistinguishable from weakness. People don't follow the smartest voice. They follow the clearest one. This is why approval-seeking is fatal. When you hesitate because you're worried about how you'll be perceived, you've already surrendered control. You're letting other people's potential reactions dictate your behavior. That's not strategy. That's submission. Real confidence doesn't wait for the right moment. It creates the moment. When you act without hesitation, you force the environment to respond to you. You set the terms, you define the boundary. Others adjust or they don't, but you're not waiting for permission. You're not negotiating with ghosts. Machiavelli wrote that fortune favors the bold, not because boldness is inherently superior, but because it disrupts the natural inertia of fear. When you hesitate, you're waiting for certainty that will never come. Every situation is uncertain. Every decision has risk. The difference between power and weakness is whether you move anyway. Hesitation is the space where control dies. The moment you eliminate that space, you eliminate the vulnerability it creates. You don't become reckless, you become unavoidable, and unavoidable people don't get ignored. 6. Machiavelli's doctrine of boldness. Machiavelli didn't write for the weak. He wrote for those willing to accept reality without the comfort of moral decoration. His doctrine of boldness isn't about recklessness. It's about understanding that power responds to force, not fairness. In The Prince, he made it clear, fortune is a woman, and she yields to those who seize her, not those who wait politely. This isn't misogyny. It's metaphor. Opportunity doesn't reward hesitation. It rewards the audacity to act when others are still calculating. Boldness isn't courage. It's the refusal to let uncertainty paralyze you. And that refusal is what separates rulers from servants. You've been taught that careful planning and risk management are virtues. They're not. They're safety mechanisms designed to keep you small. Machiavelli understood that the world punishes caution as much as it punishes stupidity. When you move slowly, you give your enemies time to organize. When you telegraph your intentions, you invite resistance. Boldness compresses time. It creates fait accompli, situations where the decision is already made and others must react to your reality, not negotiate it. This is psychological dominance. You don't ask, you do. And by the time they notice, it's already done. I've applied this in situations where consensus would have killed the outcome. There are moments where waiting for everyone to agree means the opportunity vanishes. So I moved, not because I was certain of success, but because I was certain that inaction was failure. Machiavelli called this virtù, the capacity to act decisively in the face of uncertainty. It's not about being right, it's about being first. When you operate with boldness, you shape the narrative before others can define it. You set the terms of engagement. People can resist you, but they're resisting on your battlefield, not theirs. That's control. Most people mistake boldness for aggression. It's not. Boldness is clarity executed without apology. It's the willingness to make a move, knowing that some will disapprove, some will resist, and some will fail to understand. You accept those consequences before you act. This is what intimidates people, not the action itself, the lack of hesitation. When you move with boldness, you signal that you've already calculated the cost and decided it's worth paying. Others feel that certainty. It unsettles them, because most people are still weighing options, seeking validation, waiting for the perfect moment. You're not waiting. You're already 3 moves ahead. Machiavelli knew that boldness creates momentum, and momentum creates power. When you act decisively, you force others to respond to your rhythm. They're no longer setting the pace. You are. This is the essence of dominance. Not control through force, but control through initiative. The moment you stop reacting and start dictating, you shift the entire power structure. People either follow your lead or scramble to counter it. Either way, you're the center of gravity, And the center of gravity doesn't ask for permission. It pulls everything toward itself. 7. Confidence as identity, not mindset. You can't think your way into confidence. You can't affirm it, visualize it, or manifest it through repetition. Confidence isn't a mindset you adopt on Monday morning and lose by Wednesday afternoon. It's identity. It's the accumulated weight of decisions you've made, boundaries you've held, and consequences you've accepted without flinching. When confidence is just a mindset, it collapses under pressure. When it's identity, it becomes immovable. Identity doesn't negotiate. It doesn't justify. It exists. And the world bends around it or breaks against it. That's the difference between performing confidence and being it. Most people treat confidence like a costume. They put it on for interviews, first dates, confrontations. Then they take it off when no one's watching. This is why they're unstable. Confidence that depends on context is just advanced people-pleasing. Real confidence is consistent. It doesn't adjust based on who's in the room or what's at stake. You operate the same way whether you're alone or observed, praised or criticized. This consistency is what people read as power. It's not that you're fearless. It's that your sense of self doesn't fluctuate based on external feedback. You've hardened into something unchangeable. I stopped trying to build confidence and started building identity. I decided who I was, not aspirationally, but operationally. I defined my boundaries, my standards, my non-negotiables. Then I lived them without exception. Every time I held a boundary when it was uncomfortable, my identity solidified. Every time I refused to shrink for someone's approval, I became less movable. This isn't confidence as emotion, it's confidence as architecture. You build it decision by decision, consequence by consequence. Eventually, you're not trying to be confident. You just are. And people feel the difference immediately. This is why affirmations fail. They're trying to rewire emotion, but emotion is downstream of action. You don't become confident by telling yourself you're worthy. You become confident by acting in alignment with your worth, even when no one validates it. Every time you enforce a boundary, you reinforce identity. Every time you walk away from disrespect, you carve yourself into something harder. This is psychological calcification. You're not building a mindset. You're building a structure. And structures don't collapse when someone challenges them. They stand, silent, unmoved. Machiavelli understood that a prince's power isn't in his title. It's in his willingness to act like a prince regardless of recognition. Identity precedes respect. When you operate from a place of internal certainty, external validation becomes irrelevant. You're not waiting for the world to confirm who you are. You've already decided, and that decision, lived consistently, becomes undeniable. People stop questioning you because your identity leaves no room for doubt. You're not convincing anyone. You're just existing at a frequency they can't ignore. 8. Becoming psychologically inaccessible. You've made yourself too available. Not physically, psychologically. You've let people into your emotional architecture, shown them where the levers are, taught them which buttons to push. Now they use that access to control you. They know what destabilizes you. They know what makes you react. And every time you react predictably, you reinforce their power over you. This is the cost of emotional transparency without boundaries. You thought openness would create connection. It created vulnerability. Real power doesn't come from being understood. It comes from being unreadable. When people can't map your psychology, they can't manipulate it. Psychological inaccessibility isn't isolation. It's strategic opacity. You don't hide. You simply stop offering explanations, justifications, or emotional blueprints. You act. and others interpret. You decide, and others adjust. You don't invite them into the process. This creates distance, and distance creates respect. People treat you differently when they can't predict you. They approach with caution. They second-guess their leverage. They stop assuming they know how you'll respond. This uncertainty is your advantage. When you're predictable, you're controllable. When you're inaccessible, you're sovereign. I used to over-explain. I thought clarity would prevent misunderstanding, that if I just articulated my reasoning well enough, people would respect my decisions. They didn't. They used my explanations as negotiation points. Every reason I gave became something to argue with. So I stopped explaining. I started deciding and moving. No justification, no defense, just action and consequence. The shift was immediate. People stopped debating me because there was nothing to debate. My psychology became a black box. They could see the outputs, my decisions, my boundaries, but they couldn't access the process. And that inaccessibility was more intimidating than any argument I could have made. This is why emotional control matters. When you react openly, you teach people how to move you. Anger, frustration, excitement, every unguarded emotion is data. Manipulators collect that data and use it. But when you master your emotional visibility, you become opaque. People don't know if you're pleased or irritated, impressed or indifferent. This ambiguity creates psychological pressure. They can't calibrate their behavior to get the reaction they want, so they either respect your boundary or they exit. Both outcomes serve you. What doesn't serve you is being an open book that anyone can skim for weaknesses. Machiavelli wrote that a prince must be both lion and fox, strong enough to frighten wolves, clever enough to avoid traps. Psychological inaccessibility is the fox. You don't announce your strategy. You don't broadcast your limits. You let people wonder. Let them guess. Let them project. While they're busy interpreting, you're 3 moves ahead, operating from a place they can't see. This isn't deception. It's sovereignty. You don't owe anyone access to your interior. The moment you close that door, you reclaim the only territory that matters, the one inside your mind. 9. Emotional control as the foundation of power. Power without emotional control is chaos. You can have resources, intelligence, position. None of it matters if your emotions can be weaponized against you. Every time you let anger dictate your response, you've handed someone the remote control to your behavior. Every time fear makes you hesitate, you've let an invisible enemy win. Emotional control isn't suppression, it's sovereignty. It's the ability to feel everything and express nothing until you decide the terms. When your emotions serve you instead of ruling you, you become untouchable. People can provoke, manipulate, or pressure you, but they can't move you. And immovability is the foundation of dominance. Most people confuse emotional control with coldness. They think it means becoming robotic, detached, unfeeling. Wrong. You feel everything. You just don't react to everything. There's a gap between stimulus and response, and in that gap, you decide, do I respond to this insult? Do I react to this provocation? Do I let this fear dictate my next move? The moment you create that gap, you reclaim control. Without it, you're a puppet. Every string attached to an emotion someone else can pull. With it, you're the puppeteer. You decide when to act, how to act, and whether to act at all. That decision is power. I've been in rooms where people tried to destabilize me. They raised their voice, questioned my competence, created pressure to see if I'd crack. I didn't. Not because I'm naturally calm, because I trained myself to create space between what I feel and what I show. They escalated. I stayed level. Eventually they burned out. Their emotional outburst became their weakness, not mine. This is the asymmetry of control. When you master your emotions, you force others to burn their energy trying to provoke yours. They exhaust themselves. You remain efficient, and efficiency always outlasts intensity. This is why manipulation fails against emotionally controlled people. Manipulation relies on triggering emotional responses: guilt, fear, anger, desire. When you don't react predictably, the manipulation has no anchor. Someone tries to guilt you. You acknowledge it without internalizing it. Someone tries to anger you. You observe the attempt without engaging. This isn't avoidance, it's clarity. You see the tactic for what it is, an attempt to control you through emotion, and you refuse. Not aggressively, just firmly. The refusal itself is the boundary, and boundaries enforced without emotion are the strongest kind. Machiavelli understood that rulers who governed by emotion were easily manipulated and quickly overthrown. He advised calculated ruthlessness, not cruelty for its own sake, but decisions made from logic, not impulse. Emotion clouds judgment. It makes you reactive instead of strategic. When you remove emotion from decision-making, you remove the variables others can exploit. You act based on consequence, not feeling. This doesn't make you inhuman. It makes you effective. And effectiveness, sustained over time, becomes the only reputation that matters. People don't need to like you. They need to know that provoking you is pointless. 10. Presence as a weapon. You don't need to speak to dominate a room. Presence does it for you. It's the weight you carry, the space you occupy, the certainty radiating from your posture and stillness. Most people enter a room hoping to be accepted. You enter deciding whether the room is worth your energy. That shift, from seeking to evaluating, changes everything. People feel it before you say a word. Your presence announces that you don't need their approval and that psychological independence is what intimidates them. Presence isn't loud, it's dense. It pulls attention without asking for it. And attention, once captured, is control. Weak presence apologizes. It shrinks. It makes itself smaller to avoid confrontation or discomfort. You see it in posture, shoulders curved inward, eyes down, movements hesitant. This is survival psychology from someone who believes they're prey. Strong presence expands, not aggressively, just unapologetically. You take the space you need. You hold eye contact 1 second longer than comfortable. You move deliberately without rushing. These are micro-signals of dominance, and the human brain reads them faster than conscious thought. Before anyone processes who you are, they've already decided whether you're a threat or irrelevant. Presence determines that classification, and once classified as a threat, you're respected or avoided. Both work. I learned this by watching people who commanded rooms without effort. They didn't talk the most. They didn't perform. They just existed at a frequency that demanded attention. I studied the mechanics, posture, breath control, the deliberate use of silence, the refusal to fill space with nervous energy. Then I practiced, not in front of a mirror, but in real situations, meetings, confrontations, social settings. Every time I entered a room, I decided I belonged there more than anyone else. Not arrogantly, just factually. That internal certainty translated to external presence. People started deferring to me without knowing why. They adjusted their behavior around my stillness. That's the weapon. Not what you do, what you are. This is why posturing fails. People can sense the difference between real presence and performance. When you're performing confidence, there's tension. You're monitoring yourself, adjusting, compensating. Real presence has no tension, it's relaxed authority. You're not trying to convince anyone of anything. You're just existing, and your existence reframes the room. This is what Machiavelli meant when he talked about lions and foxes. The lion doesn't announce its strength. It just is. The fox doesn't explain its cunning. It just moves. Presence works the same way. It's the unspoken declaration that you operate by different rules, and those rules don't require explanation or approval. When you weaponize presence, you don't need to manipulate. The room organizes itself around you. People unconsciously seek your validation, defer to your judgment, watch how you respond before deciding how they'll react. You've become the gravitational center, not through dominance displays or power plays, through sheer psychological weight. This is the final evolution of confidence. It's no longer something you project. It's something you are. And what you are doesn't negotiate. It just exists. Heavy, unavoidable, silent. You've seen it now. The mechanics, the psychology, the cold architecture of confidence that doesn't beg, doesn't perform, doesn't negotiate. Machiavelli demanded this because he understood what most refuse to accept. Power isn't given to the deserving. It's taken by those who understand that respect is a consequence of presence, not virtue. You don't earn intimidation through achievement. You earn it through the refusal to be moved, through the silence that makes others second-guess their leverage, through the boundary that needs no explanation because it's absolute. This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about stripping away the conditioning that taught you to shrink, apologize, and wait for permission. You were never supposed to be small. You were trained into it. And now you've seen the blueprint for reversing that training. Every principle here is a weapon. Use them. Not recklessly, strategically, with the cold clarity Machiavelli would respect. Because the moment you master this, you stop reacting to the world. The world starts reacting to you. Watch the next video. When you master this, you stop being human. It's the next layer. The place where control becomes automatic and manipulation becomes impossible against you. Write this in the comments. I choose power over approval. The confident don't explain, they decide.